Hey folks, welcome back to Wisconsin Family, and we are so excited to be here at Dream House Dream Kitchens on Verona Road.
We are. This is the segment we've been leading up to.
Absolutely, and for those of you at home, I've now quit the job at the CW and I now work at Dream House Dream Kitchens, so this is my new job. It's such a cool place. Right. So we're joined now by owner Kevin Schmidt. Kevin, thanks so much for having us here today.
Well, thank you for bringing us on today.
Yeah,
Very glad to have you.
I just have so many questions that I want to ask you. You know, I've been a homeowner. I'm my second home now, and you know, we always, my wife and I, with our first home, we owned a much older home. And we talked a lot about like things that we wanted to do with remodeling and things like that. And then we got some advice from other folks that said, you know, I don't know if it'd be worth it for you to spend the money to remodel. Talk to us a little bit about whether, you know, it's good to remodel or better just to buy a new home.
Start over.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways to look at it. First and foremost is if you're really happy with your neighborhood and you want to stay.
Yeah.
And that's typically the kids have formed relationships and you have schools and things like that. You may not want to move. Mm-hmm. The second thing that we really look at is, does the house fit what you want it to be after the remodel?
Sure.
Sometimes there are more kids coming and the house just isn't going to do it.
Right.
And you need to move on.
Right.
Sometimes there's a job transfer. There are a lot of ways that we look at the project and say, hey, how long do you want to be here? Mm-hmm. If you want to be in the home the next 5 to 10 years, that's great because you can recoup your investment, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Even if you're selling down the road, that remodel is going to help you out big time when it comes to that sale.
And one of the things that I've thought about, and you know, my wife and I had a chance to look at a lot of homes when we were looking to purchase, and you could kind of tell the people who were maybe ill-advised when they did their home remodels or when they put an addition on, because they'd have like, it'd be an old Victorian home, and then they'd have this addition that was kind of like more modern, and it totally didn't match.
A mismatch.
So I imagine that's something that you have to kind of give advice on, and that you try to kind of guide people to, you know, what they should be doing if they're going to add an addition, for an example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if they're going to do an addition, I think the first thing is that you want to be thematic with the home.
Right.
That it should look not like an addition.
Right.
It should look like it was always there.
Right.
And we try and do that with the client, and at the same time, you got to handle what the client wants in the remodel.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
So there is an exterior view that needs to be looked at, and then there's also the interior side as well.
Right.
Absolutely. And let's talk a little bit about when you get into this remodeling process. Do you have kind of a rule of thumb about how much you should be spending?
I think the first thing we do when we drive to the home is we look at the neighborhood and we say, okay, what's the average value of the surrounding neighborhood? Mm-hmm. What's the value of the house we're looking at? Mm-hmm. And how much money can you spend on the house before you become the most expensive house on the block?
Right.
And that's really important, especially if you're thinking that you're going to leave in 5 to 10 years.
Right.
So that's the first thing, it's the drive-in.
That's really smart, because you don't want to over-invest and then not be able to recoup some of those costs if you eventually leave.
Right.
Yeah. And something to think about, absolutely.
And so it's I'm guessing from what you said, it's not a good idea to be the most expensive house on the block if you can help it.
Well, there are a couple of ways to look at that
Okay.
too. First of all, a lot of the people that we do the remodels for, it's probably their last remodel.
Okay.
They might be looking to retire.
Sure.
And so they're trying to make things good and set up for a retirement. And sometimes you have to look past the money and say, hey, how do I want to spend the next 10 years? Mm-hmm. How much do I want to enjoy my home? If I'm going to be here, do I want to put in a professional kitchen, or do I want to do a master bath suite?
Right.
And financially, they can afford it. If you look around the neighborhood, it might not make any sense.
Sure.
But it's going to be a great next 10 years.
Sure.
Yeah, it depends on your motivation for doing
Right.
the remodel. If you're doing it specifically for yourself and just that comfort of living, do what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
Put in as
there's a
much
lot
money
of
as
truth
you
to
like.
that. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So, you know, obviously you are a little biased by being part of Dream House Dream Kitchens, but, you know, how does somebody, what are some things that people need to be looking for, or questions they need to be asking when they're searching for a contractor to do these jobs?
How do you pick? There's so many people out there.
Right. I think the biggest thing is you need to work with somebody that you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And I think number one is to develop the relationship. No matter how big or how small the project is, it's a lot of money to that client. And you need to respect that money.
Yeah.
And so the first thing is you look at it and you say, okay, who is going to do the best with my money? Mm-hmm. And really the money comes up first because as a designer, I have no idea what you can afford. And so I need to know that so that I don't just shoot a design dart into the air.
Right.
If I'm going to design for you, I need to know what kind of investment we're going to make so that when I show it and present you with the design, it fits the budget.
Yeah, and
Right.
the smart designs for the right budget. And I want to ask a little bit about, we talked about some examples of things that maybe weren't the best design
Right.
ideas in terms of matching the current style of the home. But why do you think some projects are more successful than others? What makes that happen?
There are a lot of wonderful designers in Madison. There are a lot of wonderful remodelers in Madison. Very, very talented people. And what happens is they might not be on the same page. So what we've developed is the store, the remodeling store, where the designs are done and the remodel's done under one roof. And we're seamless from start to finish, and we carry a lot of continuity to the project. And that way the customer really can get a project that they were looking for.
Absolutely, and working with contractors here in-house that you're familiar with, that you've worked with before,
Right.
that's huge when, start to finish.
So talk to us give us a couple of examples about some of the projects that Dream House, Dream Kitchens does.
Oh, we've worked on a lot of projects over the years. We have designed convenience stores. We have done work out at the airport.
So it's not just homes then.
We started
Wow.
in kitchens and baths, and I think that we got pulled in every direction.
Sure.
Sure.
So this week we finished up a condominium downtown that we built. We finished a boathouse on the lake. We are all over, and what's really great is we've grown, we've brought in talent from other areas. So we carry 2 or 3 builders on staff to help us with construction design. We carry an architect to help us with all the structural and things like that. So we're in just a ton of different projects,
Yeah.
and it's made this a really great career. We've been able to grow, and now we're up to 3 stores.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that speaks to the kind of work that you're doing and the type of service that you're delivering. And you obviously are passionate about what you do. What do you think is one of your favorite things, or why do you like this so much?
Because every customer has their own personality, and so does every project. So it's made it really interesting to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's really
great.
about working with the people for you. That's an authentic response.
Absolutely. It's been very, very rewarding. And I think that we are trying really hard to fill a niche in the industry where the customer can come in and relax, and they can do all their designing, space planning, they can make all their selections, and then follow us through the remodel with them. So
That's awesome.
Outstanding. Well, thank you so much for sharing
Yes.
some of those tips with us. We appreciate it.
Well, thanks.
And for having us. It's been lovely.
it's great. It's great to have you here.
Kevin Schmidt from Dream House, Dream Kitchens, thank you so much again. And that's all the time we have for Wisconsin Family. Please join us next time. We'll see you soon.
Every day is a new beginning. Shine your light. It's a day.